Okay, so for 2-3 multi-step equations, we are going to do the same two checks that we've been doing for 1-step and 2-step, right? So in order to solve these, you and know that you're going to get like x equal a number or m equal a number. You're checking for two things. You want to say, does it have an equal sign, right? Okay, it needs an equal sign. What was the other thing that I told you yesterday that it needs? What else? Go ahead on. A variable, and only one type of variable, okay? So, and when I say one type of variable, it means that you can't have an x and a y, or an x and an x squared, or something, right? You can only have just x's. You can have lots of them, but you can only have one type. Okay, so we will have all of that today in our lesson, but I just want to continue to bring that up because there's going to be a difference between simplify and solve, right? Simplify won't have an equal sign, so you can't end up with just x equal a number. All right, so here we go. This is very similar where we're starting off. So it's telling you to solve 5 equals 5m minus 23 plus 2m. Okay. The only difference is we have two spots now that have variables, right? But they're both m. And so what we want to do is we want to say, okay, they are both on the same side of the equal sign, right? So what we can do is we can combine like terms. So 5m is on the same side as positive 2m. Important to say that that's positive. So we can put those two together. What is 5m plus 2m? 7m, right? So what we do is we write it now as 5 equals, we didn't change that, 7m is what we really have if we put it together, minus 23, and now we're back to what we did yesterday, a two-step equation, right? So what am I going to undo next? Am I going to undo 7 times, or am I going to undo minus 23 this time? Angel, go. How do I do it? That's right. I'm going to add 23 here, and I will add it on the other side to maintain balance. And of course, I ran out of space, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to write mine over here. So 5 plus 23 is 28. And then what's left over here is 7m. Divide by 7. Yep, I want to undo that times by dividing. And I'll undo it over here as well because we got to keep the balance, right? So 28 divided by 7 is what? 4. And then we just have m left over here. And we've solved our multi-step equation, right? In this case, it was 3 steps. But multi-step means there could be 10, okay? But we'll get used to it. Let me just show you. Now, example 2, I think you guys have learned before, but let's make sure, okay? So if we have parentheses and we're trying to undo PEMDAS, right? So undoing PEMDAS again. So we're going backwards, and I just write it like this, but and so you're like, okay, we got to start with the add and the subtract, right? This is our exception. If we have parentheses and we have an equal sign and we have one type of variable, we do want to do the parentheses first. And by do the parentheses, we have to get rid of them. We want to distribute first. Okay? So what do I mean by distribute? Does anyone know what that means? Go ahead, Ceciosa. That's exactly what I mean. So I am going to distribute the negative 8 by multiplication. So I'm going to do negative 8 times 2x first. So negative 8 times 2x is going to give me negative 16x. Don't forget to put the x back on. And then I also have to distribute that negative 8 to the now negative 1. So negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8. And so we put that down as a plus 8. And then we write down the other side doesn't have any parentheses. So we just write down equals 36. That's our first step. Now we can solve it. Once the parentheses are gone, now we do PEMDAS backwards. And we're going to undo an add or a subtract first. So what's our first move from here? Go ahead. Ivan. -8. That's right. So -8 here. Cross it out. And that leaves us, and I'm going to write mine over here. Again, I didn't leave myself enough space. I'm sorry. Negative 16x. And then 36 minus 8 is going to give us positive 28. And now some of you are like, but wait, because you're one step ahead of me, aren't you? Because now we're going to do what? Divide. Do I divide by positive 16 or negative? Negative. Good. Take that negative with you when you multiply or divide. And then some of you already did it, and you're like, I don't get a whole number, though. Okay, you're not always going to get a whole number. Okay? You're not. Sometimes you're going to get a decimal, or sometimes it'll be left in fraction form. So first of all, somebody give me the decimal that you got. Carla, go ahead. Positive or negative? Negative 1.75. If you were to leave that as a fraction, does anyone know what it would be as an improper fraction? What would it be, my one? So this is improper, but we got to reduce it though, right? Okay. So what can you divide 28 and 16 by? The highest number? 4? Okay. So if I divide 28 by 4, what do I get? 7. And if I divide negative 16 by 4, negative 4. So either one of those answers is correct. I want to show you both because if you are on like NWEA or SAT or PSAT, they might have either one of them in the answer choice. I want you to recognize both, okay? All right, the last example, let me zoom that in a little bit. Wow, that's small. So the last example is the most challenging because it requires you to remember stuff about fractions and getting common denominators again, right? So in order to do this, you first have to change the fraction so that you have a common denominator, right? So I need to figure out, okay, how can I get a common denominator between fourths and thirds? So what would be the least common denominator I could use? Go ahead, Joelle. 12. Okay? So right away, this is what you should do. Rewrite this so that the bottom is 12 for both, knowing that you're going to change them to 12. Now, you do them individually. Let me remind you. So what would I have to multiply 4 by to get it to be 12? Go ahead, Malcolm. I got to multiply 4 by 3. So if I multiply 4 by 3, I would have to multiply the top by 3 as well. So what's 3 times 3x? David, go ahead. 9x. That's what this becomes. Now, do I multiply the 3 down here by 3 to get 12? No. What do I multiply that one by? 4. So that means I would have to multiply the top by 4, which would be, remember, this is really 1x, right? So that gives us 4 times 1x is 4x. Now I have a problem I can do. With a common denominator, now can I subtract? What's 9x over 12 minus 4x over 12? Good. 5x over 12 equal 10. Can I take the x out and put it on the side of it? Yes. So I really have 5 over 12x equal 10, don't I? Okay, so now, once I've done that, the common denominator part is really the most difficult. But once you see how you have a fraction next to the variable, what was the method that I taught you to use to undo that? What's that method going to be? Joelle, go ahead. Do what with the reciprocal? Multiply by the reciprocal. So times 12 over 5. Sorry, mine, I'm writing large because of being on screen. So sorry that mine's all jam-packed. Okay, so that cancels the 12s out and the 5s out on this side, which is what we wanted. Now, in your calculator, don't forget, this is how you type it. I'm going to say it in words. 10 times parenthesis, right? Maybe I should write this down. So in your calculator, to make sure you're correct, you would write or type 10 times parenthesis 5 divided by 12. That's how you do a fraction in there. End that parenthesis and press equal. So you got 4.16 repeating. Okay. It ends with a 7 on the calculator because the calculator doesn't have all the spaces in the world, so it rounds it at the end for you. So, but it's not really a 7, it's a repeating 6. Okay, so as a fraction, this would be 4, right? Would be your whole number. And then, does anyone know what 0.16 repeating is as a fraction? Okay, let me tell you, what is it? Oops, I did that wrong, didn't I? I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was blacking out. Thank you. You guys are probably so confused. It should be 12 over 5 here, shouldn't it, right? Okay, so when we did our calculator, we should have got it done 12 divided by 5. I'm so sorry. Okay, so yes, so we don't have to deal with this. It should be 24. I apologize. X equal 24. Boom. No wonder you guys were looking at me like I was crazy. Sorry. Thank you for correcting my mistake. Okay, last question, of course, is our favorite story problems. Let me help you because multi-step story problems can be challenging. All right. So it says Martha takes her niece and nephew to a concert. She buys shirts and bumper stickers for them. The bumper stickers cost $1 each. Martha's niece wants, okay, so here we go. Bumper stickers cost $1 each. Martha's niece wants 1 shirt, 4 bumper stickers. Her nephew wants 2 shirts, but no bumper stickers. If Martha's total is $67, what is the cost of 1 shirt? Okay, so what do we know? What do we know? What do we not know? Do we know what cost do we know? Bumper stickers. Bumper stickers are how much? Okay, so let's give bumper stickers. Do we know how many bumper stickers she bought? No. All right, so I'm going to use B for bumper stickers. So $1 for B's, right? 1 B. Okay. Oh, we do? How many? 4. So if you think about that, right, you're doing the math in your head here. So how much did we buy for our bumper stickers? $4 is what we use for bumper stickers, right? So you're doing the math in your head, which is good, all right? Do we know how much shirts cost? No. How many shirts did she buy? 1 shirt for her niece and 2 shirts for her nephew. So we spent $4 on bumper stickers, plus she spent, she bought 3 shirts, right? But we don't know how much the shirts cost. What was her total? $67. Okay, let's solve it. It says How much does it cost for one shirt? What's the first thing that has to happen to solve the question? Anna, go ahead. That's right, -4 from both sides. So I get 3s equals 63, right? $63. And then what do I do? What do I do next, son? Divide by 3. Whoop. So S equals, what is 63 divided by 3 when you type that in, David? Go ahead. 21 exactly. So the question was, what's the cost of one shirt? Shirts cost $21. Huh? Maybe it's a really awesome shirt. Or maybe it's just a ripoff. We don't know. Okay, that's the notes for the day today. Our assignment is going to be 2-3 practice, which for some reason I don't have a copy of up here. And 2-3 practice has a lot of stuff on it, so I will choose those in a second for you, okay?